right, come on. All right, quick little wrap-up video for the Izzy. Big thing with her this week has been slowing her down, being really methodical with her and getting her to use her brain a little bit more instead of just doing, which is kind of her thing, right? Like she's just doing whatever feels good to her. She is just kind of flowing through life, which is what we like about her, right? Like she's very active, she's super sweet and very social. I really wanted to help her understand what I was looking for by being pretty specific with certain things. So the first thing that I always focus on is marker and position. A marker is a word that marks the moment in time that we like something that our dog does. And for her, that's going to announce the arrival of a reinforcer, a reward, food, whatever. So I want there to be that association between the two things, that marker equals food happening. So that way, whatever she is doing when she hears that marker will then take on the good feeling of receiving food or a reward. So that way she is more likely to do that behavior in the future. So it is important that the marker happens before the delivery of food. So that way she is, I want there to be a reflexive response to that word and not my movements of gesturing that I'm going to be giving her food. That way she is responding to the marker and not my movements. So when we are in an environment where she's not necessarily looking at me and I want to mark and reward something, if she doesn't see me moving, we're not missing a moment, right? Like she's hearing that word and understanding, oh, food might be happening. So a couple of different markers that have different meanings as far as reward event and what we're looking for within behavior. So the big one that I always start out with is the yes marker. Yes means I like what you did, come take something from me. There is no commitment to the behavior. I always use yes when shaping new behaviors, when I'm not expecting the dog to understand the concept of like remaining in behavior. So if I try to force duration too early, then we kind of run into maybe souring that behavior because we're putting too much of a rule on something that they don't really understand yet. So shaping new behaviors, building engagement, counter conditioning if it's needed, all of those things are what I'm going to use that yes word for. When she hears the word yes, I want her to come chase after food. Add in a little bit of movement just so that we kind of up the value of whatever it is that I'm offering, so that like her desire to chase after kind of makes it better than just here's some food. The next marker that I use is the word good. That is implying duration. So that's how I build duration into a behavior. So once she already knows what I'm looking for, Izzy, sit, good, the moment that she has the behavior, and then good, I can pay her in behavior, good. In the beginning, this was a little bit trickier for her, good. So this is how I like to slow her down, right? Like she already knows what I'm looking for, good. I want to teach her to kind of hang out in this behavior, and then okay, is that terminal marker, meaning that the behavior is over. So I will switch up right now how I use those things. For instance, like going through doorways, which she's super impulsive about. She sees a door open, just wants to rock it through. We're using a lot of waiting. I'll pay her for waiting. Sometimes I will yes and run backwards away from the open door, just to build up that impulse control and not feel the need to just rock it through things. But that building that duration is going to really help her slow down and think things through a little bit. The other thing that we're working on right now is an out command. So I started it by saying out, stepping into her space and going through the way. I want to kind of build a reflexive response to that word, a muscle memory response where she hears out and she go girl. Okay, she knows that she would want her to move backwards. So right now it's outing away from me, and eventually we'll start transitioning that to moving away from something else. So usually I'll just put something not super interesting, of low value on the ground. When she goes to sniff it, I'll say that word out, and when she reflexively moves backwards, then I'll say yes and pay that. So that's how I transition to things away from my personal space. The other thing with her is, because she is 11, She's super social, very easily entertained elsewhere. Not always, like, she's biddable. She wants to do things with me, but we know that she's a little bit easily distracted. So I'm really making it a point to teach her how to respond to leash pressure. I like utilizing negative reinforcement, which is applying pressure and removing that pressure. The removal of that pressure reinforces the behavior that we want. So I'm teaching her that when you feel tension in the leash, if you move in its direction, it turns it off. The reason I like for dogs to understand this is so that way I can help a dog into behavior when we're in an environment where there's a lot of distractions, competing motivators. She knows what I'm asking for, so there's not a lot of conflict. So even if she doesn't care about what I have to offer and I need her to do something, I can get her to follow through with that behavior through leash pressure. So if I want to sit, go ahead. Down. Down. Yes. She knows that that pressure is just guiding her into the position that I'm looking for. Let's go. Come on. All the way. Let's go. Good. Let's go. Yes. Good job. Whoa. Izzy, place. All the way. Good. Down. Yo, place. Good. Down. Good. Okay. See this frame. It's back into the frame, kind of showing the different markers. Izzy, place. Yes. Means you can come right out of behavior, come take that food, versus place. Good. Hang out there. I'm going to bring the reinforcer to you. Good. We've just started adding in rules, so like that, I want her to remain in behavior until I give that terminal marker. Good. Place. Okay. Start it over again. Place, so withhold the reinforcement. Good. It's like neutralizing my movements. The only thing good that gives her food is my verbal marker. Good. Okay. And the only thing that lets her come out of behavior is that terminal marker. Okay. Good job. Sit. Good. Down. Good. Okay. Let's go. Down. Yes. Good job. Very good. That's a good girl. Out. Yes. There you go. Good girl. All right. Very good. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email and I'm happy to answer those for you. Otherwise, she's doing super great. She's been really fun to work with. She's nicely food motivated, but she's not like over the top with it. Yeah. All right. Well done. Good girl.